instead. Thank you. She is now an award-winning author and screenwriter based in London. Published by Penguin Random House, Nainika's best-selling books range from historical fiction to multi-generational family sagas. Her novel, Across the Line, rooted in the partition of the subcontinent, was honored with the South Asia Book Award. Her book, on Genghis Khan, invites young readers to think about how history depends on who is telling the story. Her debut novel, Ambush, tackles tiger poaching, all royalties of which go to a school for the children of former poachers in Rajasthan. Nainika has also co-written the screenplay of the film Shakuntala Devi with the Indian lead-in film actor Vaidya Balan in the titular role. She is currently working on the screenplays for 2 films and a web series. Nainika has been a speaker at list fests in the UK, UAE, India, Pakistan, and Bhutan. It is a privilege to have her here at the Nehru Center, and please join me in welcoming Nainika Mahtani.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shaurya. I'll quickly introduce Vani. I'm sure she doesn't need introduction for a lot of you. Vani Tripathi Tikoo, an actor and producer by profession, is one of the youngest ever members of the CBFC, Central Board of Film Certification, popularly known as Censor Board. She's been a socio-political activist, and her campaigns and outreach programs have focused on encouraging women's participation in politics and bringing the youth to a universal platform that addresses issues including education, empowerment, and employment. She has been closely involved in theatre, films, and television, having worked in projects in India as well as abroad. As an actor, she has about 50 plays, 40-odd TV serials, and 6 films to her credit. After graduating in political science from the Delhi University, she went to the Living Theatre Academy of Drama and learned acting under the guidance of the legendary theatre guru, Ibrahim Al-Qazi. She currently writes on issues related to broadcasting and content creation, and was a part of the core steering committee for the International Film Festival of India, Goa, IFFI, for the past 8 years. She represented the country at the Cannes Film Festival 2022, and she has recently authored her first book, Why Can't Elephants Be Red?, which is making waves globally. We are so happy and thrilled that Vani could join us today. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you so much. First, I'll want to give a very big thanks to all the friends who are here on a very rainy, cold day of London. I'm very privileged to have somebody who's, seen as an icon in London, having joined us, Farooq Dhondi, who's amongst us. Thank you, Farooq, for being here. And so many friends, and Piki, and so many other friends who are here, Shailesh, my niece, Mansi, my friend Soni, who was at Netflix for many years, Carrie Sahni, thank you so much for extending all the affection and love that you gave me. And Nehru Center, I'm very, very grateful to you all, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Nainika, for that kind introduction.
So it is really, really lovely to be here on Children's Day at the Nehru Center. For those of you who are from India, you're probably very familiar with Children's Day, but for those who aren't, this would be a huge celebration in India. It was actually chosen because Pandit Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, who loved children and really believed that children were the future, this day was dedicated to remind, I think, the grown-ups, more than anything else, that the well-being of children really needs to be at the forefront of everything that we do, because we tend to be adults thinking that we know it best, and let's, lose touch with the children around us and the child inside us. So this actually takes me back to many happy memories of childhood where the teachers would come on stage on Children's Day and perform for us plays or songs or whatever, and we'd be sitting in the audience like chief guests. And I would kind of think, I wish every day was like Children's Day. And it's so fitting that Vani's here today, because I know that has been her motto, that every day should be Children's Day, because she's dedicated so many years of her life working with children, for children, be it in theater as an actor and producer, be it shaping public policy for the well-being of children, or be it as an author of this beautiful book, which actually raises some really thought-provoking questions around creativity, around children, around parenting, and so much more. So Vani, thank you so much for making the time today. It is really lovely to have you here. I want to ask you, this little red elephant has had a long journey with you. I think your first sort of interaction with this little red elephant started many years ago in the National School of Drama. So I want to ask you a little bit about the journey with this Lal Lal Hathi.
Well, every book has its own organic journey. Sometimes they are manifold. But this one definitely has a double, a kind of a twofold journey. One is, of course, the title, Why Can't Elephants Be Red? She's right. When I used to work at the National School of Drama, I chose to work with children in a company called Theatre Education, which Barry John used to helm many years ago, at the drama school. And one of the plays I did, at that time was called Lal Lal Hathi, which was a very interesting tale about a little kid who was very bad in his studies but was very good in art. And one day he went and drew a red elephant in the art class. And the teacher got very upset, with the child. He said, this fantabulous part of your, imagery is all very well, but elephants are either black or they're gray or they're sporadically white. What is this red elephant? So the child wages a firm but a very important debate with the teacher when he says, your elephant is black, white, or gray. I have no issues with that. Mine is red. What is your problem? And at that moment, in a red velvet costume, I used to actually pop out of a box, which later became the school bag of the kid and so on. So obviously, it was about, the creative imagery of children. And frankly, when you look at the world around us, everything is a box. The school classroom is a box. The table or the chair on which they sit is a box. The book is a box. Everything is just that one square. There's no roundedness to those conversations or those, that part of imagination. And I think that is what the play, spoke about. We probably performed that play for many, many years. For a good part of a decade, I became Lal Hathi to many, many, many children all across the world. My dear friend Nawazuddin Siddiqui, even today on his phone, it's not Vani Tripathi written, it's Lal Hathi written. But the whole point is that how do we look at children around us? We either bark orders at them or we talk down to them. We never look at them as observant individuals who observe life. They have opinion about adults, us, and our hypocrisy, and the things that we preach but don't practice. Small little things like during COVID, everybody was working from home, so it was convenient to give your mobile phone to the child and say, oh, now you can play a game because I've got a Zoom call. The moment that Zoom call is over, where is your screen time? You're screaming. And then the child will turn around and say, but you don't go to that place where even the kings go alone in the morning without that gadget in your hand. And you're preaching me about screen time? So that is one part of the journey. And the other was, of course, personal. I've extensively spoken about how COVID changed so many things around us.
So that's what I actually want to come to, how this little red elephant followed you and found you in the midst of the lockdown, where you were separated from your young daughter because you were caring for your elderly mother. You were the sole caregiver. She was ailing. She was in India. You were with her. Your little child was away from you for 2 years with your husband and your extended family. How was it, Vani, that this book still is joyous? I sometimes believe that stories find us in moments when we need them. For instance, the story I wrote about the partition, it was a story because all 4 of my grandparents were refugees in the partition. And I felt that there were unfinished conversations I hadn't had with them. But those conversations came to me begging to be finished, and I had to write just before the lockdown, and it taught me about resilience. I wonder if you feel that this story came to you because you needed it.
Well, it was very cathartic to write the book, but yes, it was, I was completely torn between an ailing mother who was bedridden in Delhi and my daughter with my husband and my in-laws in Singapore, which shut down. Singapore completely shut down during COVID. I mean, whether you were permanent residents or you were citizens or you were employment pass holders, you couldn't go back. But I think the joy part of the book is because the protagonist of the book is a 2.5-year-old kid who looks at the world with amazement around her, what adults do. People wear 2 masks, and then she sings about those two masks. This is exactly what Akku, my daughter Akshara, was doing. And yes, it was difficult for me to, whenever you don't even think that for a whole week or 10 days or a month you'll be without your little kid. And here it was 2 long years. Yeah. But writing the book was that, process of, it was organic. It was just happening because this was helping me. Yes. It was helping me from breaking down every single day. And these 12 chapters, I don't want to let out too much. I'm sure my friends here would want to read the book. These 12 people are 12 chapters of a book which are actually this big, large Kashmiri Indian family that I'm married in, who kept their lives on hold because the mother wasn't around, for her.
Right.
And those questions, those little questions that, in Singapore, everybody eats seafood, and we live opposite a very famous food court. And I used to tell her stories of crabs, and one day she saw this large, tub of water with crabs floating in it, obviously to be gobbled up a little later, by adults. And obviously that we couldn't say to her. But she started asking, why is this thing in a tub? Why is it not in the sea? Because you were just telling me the story of the crab and the sea yesterday. And imagine, that is the retention power of, little children.
Absolutely. What I absolutely loved about this book was it sort of helps you connect with things that you might have forgotten about. On the surface, it's a lot like another book that we both love is The Little Prince. And I think, I was given it when I was a young girl by my father. And I wrote my name in it. And then when my daughter was born, I read it to her. And then she wrote her name in it. And Nandana Mehtani 3D, it's still written in that. And it so much, your book reminded me so much of The Little Prince, because it is a child who just wants to go where his imagination or her imagination takes her. And, we think childhood is this time of unbridled joy and magic, but it can be dark. And we saw that with this little girl who's going through the pandemic. She deals with it. She doesn't have a mother around her. She deals with it, but it's not to say that children don't process loss or grief or any of that. And sometimes I feel that we mollycoddle children in how we present stories to them. But I love that what you have done is written from her point of view. She's asking questions about what she sees around her. And these are very valid, grown-up questions, which we should give credence to.
But those questions are so badly, we treat those questions with such disdain.
Absolutely.
Or with a sense of this, that why is so many questions being asked, and why is this? why do we are so busy growing up as adults that we forget the sense of childhood that we had, what kind of childhood we had. And this is what the problem is. I mean, today when you look at the world around you, you don't see enough stories for children. There's a new word, content. Everything is content. Now because there's a OTT and there are web series and, there used to be cinema, but now it's all broad-stroked and called content. We are not even creating any content for children, if that is the word that needs to be used, where it's about their lives. One of the other debates I've been, this is the third country in which we are launching the book. And I constantly ask people who are interested in children, educators. There's Ekta sitting there, who does a tremendous, this work, in London and has this literature, child authors. They publish stories by children. Why are we peddling frozen castles and kings and queens and fairy tales to children all the time? Their actual life, their real life is so interesting, complex. And imagine if a child starts to speak about his or her own reality. How interesting it would be for the same adults who, push it away and they're like, okay, whatever. This is not something I'm interested in.
Right. But do you think as a society, we need to sort of recalibrate our attitude towards creativity? Even when a child takes up a subject that is not STEM or, that is humanities, there is, it used to be much more when I grew up. It's much less now, but there is still that. What will you do with this? Where will you go with this? I think just imagination and creativity is given a bad hand in life. Do you agree?
Let us first inquire the question, creativity itself. Constantly, I think more than just saying that, school is the most important influence in a child's life, home is the most important influence in a child's life. How many of us actually inculcate them with the whole interest towards books? Do we read enough books? Do we talk about books? Do we talk about literature? We don't. But, he's always on this digital device. He's always watching this. She's always, playing a game. They are emulating the kind of roles that they see around them. And then we constantly, put them on the anvil. It's always about how many grades you got, what kind of competition, what is the definition of success. I mean, when was the last time a child had a choice to actually choose something that he or she really wanted to do? And also that kind of parenting, keep them busy so that there is nothing else which enters their mind. What do you know about their minds? Do you know enough about their minds? Do you know enough about what they wish to know, what they wish to inquire, what they want to explore? So creativity is a very it's that one word is standing very far out in that long list of things that he or she has to do each day to, become somebody else in life.
Right.
And these are those paradigms which immediately kill what is called the creative imagination of children.
I love the bit in the book where, you get to meet Aku finally after a long time and you're spending time together with her. And then you're heartbroken when you have to leave. And she turns around and she is being the adult in the situation and telling you, Ma, it's okay. You have to go and look after your mum. So go on now. And here we are assuming that as adults, we have all the answers, we have all the solutions. But actually, there's so much we can learn from children if we give them a chance.
Absolutely. And there is one chapter that I
would love for you to read from.
I mean, it's like a continuum. It's like a long playing story amongst all the cities and the countries that we, launched the book. This is, I think, one of those things where this defines why this book was written. So the chapter is called I Love Art. So one of the large things I absolutely love is a big chart paper where I can go mad with colors. Now that scribbling is slowly turning into shapes and patterns. A monkey can have a brown tail. I know that now. I also know that a tiger can have black stripes within the yellow. What I'm really struggling with is a parrot which is multicolored. Now, don't you laugh at me, okay? There is a fascinating story which Mama used to tell, which was about a monkey called Chintu. A monkey who wanted to steal the red cap of a passerby. He would throw stones and fruits at that person and carry off that little red cap just because he wanted to have fun. Similar things are happening around me. I'm going crazy with colors. I like to actually steal the colors, one from the other. I'm not just satisfied with a boring yellow or just an orange. When I mix them together, a brand new color emerges, and that's the fun part. I have become a little better with actually putting color right inside the drawing, but it still spills out sometimes. But slowly, I'm learning to color within the line or inside the circle and keep it inside the border of the drawing. I like to draw various things. It's not just circles, shapes, or animals. I love to draw the window in my room. There are so many trees outside. One thing Mama used to say while feeding me when I was little was, she used to sing this song, building, building, building. There are so many buildings right outside my window. I couldn't understand what that meant then. Now I know because I love to draw them. I'm also trying to decide what a non-red Mickey Mouse can look like or what a red elephant can mean. There's a fascinating story Mama used to tell. It was actually a play in which she acted. The story was about a red elephant. There was a little boy who was very good at art. One day, he went to his art class and he drew a red elephant. Now, the teacher got very cross with him. How can an elephant be red? Elephants are grey, or they are black, or they are white. The little boy argued, no, my elephant is red. And the moment he said his elephant was red, there were various other children who started to say, my elephant is yellow. My elephant is green. No, mine is purple. This baffled the teacher. It took a while for the teacher to understand that all of us can have an imaginary friend, and the friend might not be the same color that you actually see it as in real life. They just belong to you. You are the ones who communicate with those little elephants or those animals or those trees or some pictures. Since they are a part of your being, they take the shape and the color of your imagination. The story of the red elephant has always stayed with me. And Mama used to sing. Would you sing with me? Would you sing with me? Would you?
Yes.
Let's sing together. Okay? La 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 la, hathi hu main. One more time. La 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 la, hathi hu main. La 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 la, hathi hu main. And Mama says, the moment the elephant used to come alive in a red velvet dress, all the children would start clapping. I'm trying to paint a green cat these days. Also, a blue cow. Well, what is really wonderful for me is what is so close to my heart. That is what is so precious. So remember one thing. Never lose your imagination. Because before you know it, there'll be other people who will start imagining it for you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So lovely. It's like the secret the fox tells the little prince. That, it is only with the heart that one sees rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. that is just so similar to the Lal Hathi. So now, before we launch the book, I was wondering if I could invite Alaina up to also read a little bit from your book.
Sure.
And after that, if we could invite Farooq, please, and a few of our chief guests, the children, Kabir, Alaina, and Vihan, to join us when we launch Vani's book. But before that, Alaina, could we have you on stage, please? Maybe you can take my mic.
How old are you?
7.
Oh, she's a big girl.
She's a big girl. What are you going to read?
I'm going to read Floaties and the Little Big Pool.
Lovely.
What is this big surprise?
Yes.
Okay. Should I hold it for you?
Yes, please. I love to splash about in the little baby pool which Mama has got for me. She called it Bubble Bath. I don't understand why it is called Bubble Bath. Maybe because it makes loads of bubbles around me. I love to splash until all the water comes out of the little baby pool inside our house. But today is special. You know what? Dida has got me a big pair of armbands which she puffs up with her mouth. She calls them floaties. They are blue in colour and they have little mermaids drawn on them. They are beautiful little mermaids. Now, you will wonder how I know what a mermaid is. I have a mermaid drawn on my water bottle, and the other day I saw a poster. Mama told me there is a play called The Little Mermaid. I still have to meet the Little Mermaid. I can't wait to meet her. These floaties which go around my left and right arms look like balloons. Imagine, I have a fat balloons around my arms. Isn't that lovely? Today Dida says he will go to the big blue pool. Now I wonder what the big blue pool will look like, because this baby pool in the house is so nice and comfortable. I don't even have to wear these big balloons on my arms. Anyway, I have a new pink costume. I will wear it, and then Dida and Mama will take me downstairs to the big blue pool. When I play downstairs, I see big girls and big boys. And sometimes the uncles and aunties splash in that pool. Each time I look that way, they say it's for grown-ups. So maybe we are going to another big pool.
Thank you. This was a very big surprise. Okay, why did you choose this chapter? What is about the big blue pool which you like?
I don't know.
We'll find out together later. Will we?
Yeah.
Thank you, Alaina. Thank you, Nainika.
Lovely. So could we have Farooq, please, on stage? Carrie as well, please. And is it okay if I call all the children in the audience
Yes,
on
of
stage? Can I
course.
have Anupa's son, Anupa,
Alaina,
please? So lovely. Alaina,
Vihan,
Vihan.
Kabir.
Today is Children's Day, so the children are the chief guests.
And quite a few of these kids are authors themselves, which is a
How
very big
wonderful is
surprise. Both for me and Nainika.
Hi, Farooq. How are you?
Hi, Farooq.
Thank you. Oh, how lovely. How lovely to see you all. Here you go. You can all have one of those. And
Carrie?
hi, Carrie.
Now we have to, two of you will have to.
Here, one of you. Okay. Can the kids come in front here?
Come in front of us. Unwrap the book. You have to unwrap the book.
Maybe you can move in a little bit, sweetie. Or maybe the boys can come this side so Lina can be in the center.
Yes, come.
That's nice.
Okay.
Okay, let's unwrap the books.
Let's unwrap the book.
Quickly.
Farooq,
Tear it
unwrap
off,
the
tear
book.
it off.
Unwrap the book. Chari, why don't you come here? Farooq can join Kabir. Just help Farooq. Yeah, join Kabir. Come and try. Okay. Unwrap the book. I'll help you.
Let me help you.
I'll help. I'll help. Now you can tell it. Okay. This you and I should. Yeah. Okay. Everybody hold the book. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I must say I've already got a copy some time ago and I read it cover to cover.
Thank you, Farooq. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you, Thank you.
So thank you so much. Vani will be signing books now, and there will be high tea in the foyer. So if we could please make our way there. And thank you, a big thank you to everybody, and especially to the children here today. Thank you, Farooq. Thank you,
Thank you
Farid.
so much,
thank
friends.
You, Vani.
Join me downstairs in the foyer for some for the
High
book
tea
signing and
the book
high tea.
signing.